Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. So, by now, you might have heard that Arsenal actually took part in a pre-season friendly or behind closed doors friendly today up against Watford. We drew the game 1-1. I mean, no details in terms of analysis or anything, but I'm just going to give you the goal score and take a look at the lineup and a few things we picked up from the lineup. So, without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. So, Arsenal 1, Watford 1. This was the lineup that took part in that game. This was the starting 11. So he had Okonkwo in goal, a back four of Cedric, Gabriel, Holding, and Ben White, a midfield of Miles Lewis, Bandera, Trossard, Nketiah, Jesus, and Nelson. So that was the lineup that started the game. So in terms of the goalkeeper, Okonkwo, I don't really expect him to be here next season. I still expect Ramsey and Martina to be the goalkeeper, so Okonkwo could be loaned out. The defense, yes, Gabriel and Ben White will definitely be in our defense next season. Rob Holding, we have to wait and see what happens with him. At the moment, if you're to ask me, I mean, many people don't want to keep him. I'm part of that list as well. But in terms of what is going to happen, I have a feeling there's a chance he could be here. Why? Because he's on very minimal wages. I think like 30 or 40,000 per week, or maybe the most is 50. I don't exactly remember the exact numbers, but it's definitely 5 figures, not 6 figures. It's definitely way under 100,000 per week. That is one reason. Another reason is because I actually checked his age the other day. It's like 27, 28. So is nowhere, is 2-3 years before he gets to 30. So could that end up being that Holding ends up staying at Arsenal? It could be. Now the only other thing that can stop him from being here at Arsenal is whether Atta doesn't really want him here, or number two, him himself, he wants to go and play start football anywhere else, so like starting 11 for any other team. So that could be a reason. Gabriel, Ben White, we're not going to talk about them. Obviously, they're going to be here. Miles Lewis and Bandera. Miles Lewis is a player who plays for the under 23 midfield, and then also Bandera is an attacking midfielder. Now, the one for Trossard, I'm not quite sure if he played there, but looking at the three forward players, he must have played there. The only other way, because I mean, none of us watched the game unless we get a couple of people who actually were at London Colony watching the game. The only other way this lineup could have been is whether we had Trossard in midfield or as a number 10 or something, and then Nelson, Nketiah, and Jesus, and then Bandera and Miles Lewis behind him in a 4-2-3-1, or Trossard on the left side, and then Nelson on the right, and then two strikers in Nketiah and Jesus. That is also a possibility. Or we could have had someone like a Jesus on the right side, Nketiah as a striker, Nelson as a number 10, and Trossard on the left side. So those front four could have been anyway, but I'd like to believe Trossard maybe played in the number 8 role. I'd not be surprised if we saw Trossard playing in the number 8 role a bit next season, that Havertz role, Xhaka role. I'd not be surprised, especially in that games that we need to attack. We could have end up seeing Trossard and Odegaard as two number 10s, and then Havertz up front, and then someone else on the left, Martin, and then Saka on the right. Depending on the game, depending on who's fit, depending on who's getting rested, we might see that happening next season. But I'd like to believe Trossard played in that role, or maybe on the left side. I've given you the potential different roles every one of them could have played, but we're just guessing at this point. So from that lineup, obviously the likes of Jesus and Gabriel and Ben White will obviously be starting players next season, and then you'd expect Trossard and Nelson and maybe even Nketiah to be part of the team next season in terms of playing a few roles here and there. So that was the starting lineup. In terms of the players who started on the bench, this was on the bench. Hilson, another goalkeeper. Marquinhos actually came on and scored 1-1. That was our goal scorer. Beard, nice to see him back. Beard was very, very good with Balogun. A couple of seasons ago, I was following every single under 23 game. I was doing watch-alongs and everything. And Beard and Balogun were really good together up front. In the under 23, they were always scoring. And then Beard obviously was sent out on loan last season, but he is back. Now I don't know if he's going to stay or be sent out on another loan. Kozia Duberry as well was there on the bench. Goa, Henry Francis, Alex Kirk, Norton Caffey, Nwaneri was also there. Holland, his name is actually Salah Holland, Sagoe Jr., Lino Sosa, and Walters. Those were the players that were on the bench. Cedric, as I said, Cedric started the game. I don't really expect him to be here next season, so we probably will see him in Germany against Nuremberg, but in USA, not quite sure we are going to see him there. And then obviously players like Jesus getting their fitness up, players like Trossard getting their fitness up as well. Nwaneri also took part in this game. Ben White also took part in this game. And no analysis for the game, just the lineup that started the game, and the few players who are going to be here and the few players who might not be here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.